Have you ever had this brilliant idea, right? Or maybe some really important feedback, and it just falls flat? You said the words, but you can tell they didn't land. Well, today we're going to dig into how to make your message not just heard, but actually felt and remembered. Let's get into it.
This visual, it just perfectly captures that feeling, doesn't it? We've all been there. You send a message out, you got the best intentions, and it just vanishes into this communication black hole. It's exactly where good ideas and, crucial feedback often go to die.
And isn't this just the most relatable feeling ever? You're talking and you can literally see it in their eyes. The lights are on, but, nobody's home. It feels like your words are just hitting a brick wall.
And that brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. We get so wrapped up in what we're trying to say, but the real truth is a message has zero, and I mean zero value, until it's properly received. What you say and what they hear can be two completely different things. So reception, it's everything.
Okay, so how do we actually escape this communication black hole? Well, the whole thing starts with one single fundamental question. Who are you talking to? Seriously, before you even think about what you want to say, you have got to know who you're saying it to. So this brings us to the idea of a target audience. Now, that might sound like some kind of marketing jargon, but look, it's something we all do instinctively every single day. Think about it. The way you explain something to your boss is totally different from how you'd explain it to your kid, right? The key is to make this a conscious, deliberate strategy, not just a reflex.
And this slide, this is basically a power tool for doing just that. Before you say a word, just pause and run through these questions. Like, who do they trust? Knowing that tells you what sources to mention or whose opinion might actually matter to them. And honestly, I think the most important one here is what sets off their bullshit detector. Because if you accidentally trigger that, game over. Nothing else you say is going to get through. And look, this isn't about manipulation. It's about empathy. It's about building a bridge to the person you're talking to.
Okay, so once you've got that clear picture of your audience, then the focus shifts. Now it's all about choosing the right words to actually build that bridge. It's time to craft your message with some real precision.
Just think of your language as the gatekeeper to your idea. Like this slide shows, if you use the wrong words, the wrong tone, or even just sloppy grammar, that gate just slams shut. Your audience mentally checks out. And it's not about being a grammar snob, not at all. It's that these little details send a signal about whether you respect your audience and, frankly, your own message.
This quote from the source just nails it. Your thoughts guide your feelings. The words you choose literally plant thoughts in your audience's mind, and those thoughts are what determine how they feel about your message. So are you using words that create excitement or anxiety, a sense of collaboration or a feeling of conflict? You're not just sending information, you are literally shaping an emotional reality.
But here's the thing, even with the absolute perfect words, a huge chunk of your message is being sent completely silently. Long before you've even finished your first sentence, your audience has already started to read you. Why? Because your body talks too.
Sometimes our bodies just betray our words. When what we're saying doesn't quite match up with what we're feeling deep down, it leaks out. Crossed arms, a shaky voice, tense shoulders. Your audience picks up on these nonverbal signals instantly, usually without even realizing it. And when your words and your body are telling two different stories, guess which one they're going to believe? Your body. Every single time.
But, and this is the really empowering part, here's the flip side. That same channel that can betray you can also become your absolute greatest asset. When you learn to line up your physical presence with your message, you don't just say your words, you embody them. It's about communicating with your entire being, with real intention.
So what does that actually look like? Well, the source breaks it down into 3 simple but super powerful actions. First, use open body language. That non-verbally says, I'm confident, I'm comfortable, I have nothing to hide. Second, make real, genuine eye contact. That's how you build trust and turn a speech into a conversation. And third, use your tone of voice. Don't just speak words, use your tone to convey emotion and meaning. When these 3 things are in sync with what you're saying, your message becomes incredibly powerful.
All right, we've talked about your audience, your words, and your body language. You'd think that would cover it, right? But there's one final layer we have to peel back. These subtle little traps that can still twist your message no matter how well you prepared. So let's talk about avoiding misunderstanding.
It really is like that game of telephone we all played as kids. You start with a perfectly clear message, but by the time it gets to the end of the line, it's totally warped and means something else entirely. That gap between what we say and what people actually hear, that's where misunderstanding lives. And understanding what causes that distortion is the key to fixing it.
This table lays out the usual suspects so well. Let's just look at a couple. Cultural differences. A simple thumbs-up gesture is a good thing in one country and, well, deeply offensive in another. Or get this, stress and intonation. The sentence, "I didn't say he stole the money," can have 7 different meanings just depending on which word you emphasize. These aren't small details. They can change everything.
And this is where it all clicks into place. Every single tool we've talked about is a direct defense against those misunderstandings. Knowing your audience helps you avoid cultural blunders. Choosing precise words gets rid of ambiguity. And using intentional body language makes your meaning crystal clear. See? They aren't just separate tips. They're a whole system for making sure your message arrives exactly as you intended.
So let's end on this thought. Your ideas matter. Your stories, your feedback, they all deserve to be heard, not lost in some communication black hole. We've just walked through the entire toolkit to make that happen. So the only question left is, what's the first important message you're going to make sure lands?